The good thing about my love of Kirstie Alley is that I can watch her in any film, and it doesn't really matter how much I didn't enjoy the film, I will always enjoy her performance. And that's what we get with While I Was Gone, because the film itself I didn't think was up to much, but Kirstie Alley, still fabulous, still made me happy. This was released in 2004, directed by Mike Robe, written by Alan Sharp, apparently based on the novel by Sue Miller. I haven't read the novel. If you know anything about it, if you can say how it compares, please feel free to share this information. And Kirstie Alley plays a vet, and I will say first of all that gives us some pretty sad animal scenes involved when she's actually working, which is something that I could have dealt with if the rest of the film was good, but it was just one more thing that made this film uncomfortable. She's not happy with her life. And one day a dog is brought into her practice, and a very, very unfortunately unwell dog. And the person actually happens to be somebody she knew from 30 years ago. And she begins to assess who she is now, where her life is, and what her life was like. Maybe what her life could have been if she had taken different paths. On the one hand, it's an interesting enough character study because I think we all come to a point in our lives, multiple times throughout our life, where we are forced to evaluate who we are, if the decisions we have made have been the right ones, and what our lives could have been like if we had made other decisions. You know, it's decisions you make when you come to the end of school, once you finish university, maybe once you've gone through your first job, you start to wonder if you've made the right decisions, if you're in a relationship. We often face these questions, and from the one hand, I thought that aspect of it was quite interesting because the character of Jo, played by Kirstie Alley, is, I think, easy to get on with. She's quite a likable character. There wasn't anything about her that didn't work. I didn't think she was just whinging for the sake of whinging or feeling sorry for herself for the sake of it. I felt like I believed her actions. I felt like her emotional responses to things were very realistic. But the actual film itself, the action, the drama, the narrative is just not very interesting. There were a lot of flashbacks, and I have to say, Rebecca Benson, who plays young Jo Beckett, so young Kirstie Alley, was actually brilliant. The casting there worked so well. I thought that was really effective. But the actual scenes themselves were not that interesting. I didn't really care. They were interesting enough at highlighting what Jo's past used to be like, but I think they were I wouldn't say there was an abundance of them, but they just happened a little bit too frequently. I'd have rather spent more time with present day Jo and got to know about who she is today. Also, the grainy effect they put over the past scenes to show that it was in the past, completely unnecessary. Really unnecessary. So many films rely on analepsis without having to put some weird filter over it. It wasn't relevant and it wasn't comfortable to watch. So While I Was Gone is not all bad. Jo as a character was likable and interesting. Kirstie Alley is fabulous. I'm biased. I've loved her since I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I realised that had she been played by somebody else, maybe an actor whose work I wasn't familiar with, who I didn't have an emotional connection with, maybe I wouldn't be seeing that positive element in this film. I'm completely aware of that. The film, has a rating of 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb. That's quite a low rating, and to be honest, I kind of agree with it. It's maybe a 5 out of 10. It's not terrible. It's not awful. It's not completely unwatchable. But by the end of it, I didn't feel satisfied other than, the satisfaction of watching Kirstie Alley. But taking Alley out of the equation, I don't think the film really has anything going for it.